Yeah, I took away something different from all of the traders in the book, and I think one of those things, well, one, like I knew right away, I'm like, yo, this guy's a hustler. I like, you know what I mean, just how you were from a kid. The other one is how you stuck to your convictions. I mean, and I know you had years of losing, right? Which I want to ask you how you dealt with that, just like emotionally and personally. But you stuck to like, because it's a very unique thing how you approach trading. And just to have that like confidence or just that conviction and sticking with it, was that a hard thing for you to be like, no, screw this, screw technical, screw whatever. I'm sticking to my guns. Like, how did you come across that?
Yeah, so I had some success early on, as I mentioned earlier, when I was a teenager, observational investing or social arb, whatever we want to call it now. But I never believed that I would have something that Wall Street did, and it didn't make sense. So I was like, once I got excited about investing, I did what everyone does. I read all the books, technical trading, fundamental trading, like all of it, momentum, like the whole thing. Yeah. And I did everything. And I did everything back in the day when it wasn't like you and a phone, right? Like Robin Hood style. I would literally go, sometimes I would walk a mile, or I would take a bus, like public transportation, or ride my bike to Fidelity Investments. And I would literally, because they would let me trade inside of their office, or I can go to a payphone and touch tone trade. Literally, you'd go to a payphone, you put money in the payphone, right? And Fidelity had this thing where you could go, and you could type in the option symbols, and it would take you like 15 minutes to get a trade through. So I did this forever. And I lost a tremendous amount of money because I was young and I wanted to get rich on every trade, like every young trader does, right? And I learned that I was like, I kind of gave up on the market. And at that point, I was in my 20s. I was like, screw it, I want to live life. I was doing other stuff. Eventually, I got back into having a normal job, making a conventional salary. And I was like, this ain't for me, man. I got to figure out how to do something else. I went back to trading, but I went back to the social arb, and it worked. And I was like, okay, what if I just do this? What if I literally just do this? And that's why I took that 20K and in 3 years turned it into 2 million. And now, probably 50 million plus since then. But it worked. And man, I'll tell you, once I started doing that, this is like 15 years ago. It seems insane. I've had bad trades. I've lost money, but for the most part, in 15 years, there have been very, very few high conviction trades that I've made that have gone bust. Like, I know it's hard to believe, but like very few out of the 40 or 50 high conviction trades I've made in 15 years, I don't know, a couple probably went bust on me. Yeah. So it's like, and I always, for the first 10 years, I was like, because I read Nassim Taleb, Black Swan, all this stuff, all his book. I'm like, okay, maybe it's all chance. Maybe this whole thing is ridiculous. And I'm just like, I'm the outlier, right? Maybe I'm just the outlier of statistical probability. And like, that's how I think. I'm like, every day, I'm like, I'm just statistically an outlier. And I was like, if I can push this past 10 years, I'm going to really I'm no longer an outlier. And when I pushed it past 10 years, that's when I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is still happening. And then it was 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, now I'm on my 15th year of social arb investing. Yeah. And I think my average returns, if you count this last year, have got to be in the mid 70s annualized over the past 15 years. So that's called 75%-ish annualized returns, maybe close to 80 now. So I've had such an insane, I was up 370% this last year. But like, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe that others haven't really caught on, right, to the style of investing. Yeah. Then they have more than ever now with my Dumb Money YouTube channel. So we have this YouTube channel, Dumb Money, and this is all we do. We just talk about it all day long. We just talk about our social arb trades. We have a Discord community. We've got 30,000 people who are social arb traders in our Discord. It's wild. I mean, and they use that term. I'm like, I always dreamed of the day people be like, I'm a social arb trader. Like, I didn't think that would ever happen. Yeah. Like I've been saying this for a decade. I'm a social arb trader, and people are like, what? Yeah. And now people are actually using the term, which makes me really happy.